My name is Terrell Borum, and I am a 2003 graduate of Parkway South High School. I actually came into Parkway during my first grade year. We lived in the city of St. Louis, and my mom wanted another option for me and my actual twin sister educationally. And so we ended up going to Parkway. And so we were among those groups of scholars who would, wake up at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning and be bused to West County for different educational opportunities. And so Parkway takes up the bulk of my educational experience. I was in Catholic school, for kindergarten before that, and then another school for preschool. So I've had a lot of really wonderful and positive experiences in Parkway. And I just remember the difference in my education before Parkway and then coming into Parkway, not only with different groups of folks, culturally, racially, just all around background, but even in that distance of that trip from the city to West County and what that looked like, what those environments look like differently. I will say initially, it was a little bit of a culture shock, just coming from those different backgrounds and then having to do that. But I will say I think I quickly adjusted, and like I said, it led to some of the best experiences of my life.
Did you have a lot of friends from the city who were also coming to Parkway that you rode the bus with and attended the same schools?
Mm-hmm. I mean, so as far as friends who lived in the city, I didn't know a lot of the people who were going to Parkway before that, but definitely as we took that journey together, we definitely formed bonds. I mean, between elementary school and high school, my bus ride was anywhere from an hour to 2 hours at certain periods of time. And so both going to school and leaving school, and so spending that much time of your day with the same folks over and over. And I had a couple of friends who we rode the bus and went to the same schools all the way from early elementary school to the time we graduated from high school. And so, yeah, you really get to form bonds and relationships with those people who you go with. And a lot of the experiences that we had were very similar because we came from different backgrounds and we were going to schools that were very different from the backgrounds that we came from. And so not only that we spent so much time together, but just that a lot of our experiences that shaped our lives were similar. And so it helped us to forge those stronger bonds.
When you got to Parkway and went to school, how did you feel about going to Parkway schools? Was it a good experience for you?
It was a really good experience for me. And I'll be honest, looking back, I've done a lot of looking back and thinking, as we get older, we all do. And just as we think about experiences, I've been able to look at some of my experiences a little bit differently, both positively and negatively. But I'll say a lot of the experiences that I found that have been a little more on the negative side, I honestly didn't even realize them until I got a little bit older and was able to analyze things from a different perspective. Like I said, once I went to elementary school during first grade, and there was maybe a few months of adjustment, particularly with the getting up really early and those sorts of things. But outside of that, no. I had friends who lived both in the city, friends who lived in the county. We hung out, we talked, even at times going to other students' homes. So no, I had a lot of positive experiences. I always got along with all of my teachers. Even some of those teachers, whether it be through social media or other means, still keep in contact with to this day. So both in terms of the kids and adults, I formed a lot of really positive relationships in Parkway.
Now, you're Dean of Students at St. Louis College Prep
Yes.
Charter School.
Yes.
What advice would you give to students today, high school students, let's say, who are thinking about education as a career?
So my background is actually in social work. So my degrees are actually in social work. I'm not a classically trained, educator in terms of having education degrees. But I think the same advice still applies. So I remember the first day of our meeting to get ready to choose our practicums for my undergrad social work degree. The coordinator of the field experience program, the first thing that she told us before she told us anything else was that always remember that your passion and your desire to help whatever population you want to work with is so important. But if that's all you have, you will not be productive and you will not last in this field. You also have to understand that, you know, whether it's social work or education, when you work with people, that it's also a business. And so your passion will definitely drive you through, but you have to understand that there's certain inputs that have to be put in, and there are certain objective, data-driven outcomes that you have to have. And so having passion isn't enough. I always say you have to be passionate about what you do and the population that you work with, but you also have to be competent and knowledgeable about what you're doing and what it takes to raise and empower the population that you work with. So I'd say the advice that I would give is to be both passionate, but also being sure that you're as competent as possible with what you're doing.